Hello passengers and welcome to another episode of Xplane 11. I am your captain, Carrot Top Gamer, and we will be flying from Schiphol Airport, where we are currently sat at the moment, across to Heathrow in London. It's going to be a short flight just to get our A319 back to home base, and then next episode will then set us up perfectly to get us flying under the British Airways virtual airline, where they'll hand us a couple of routes and we'll start flying those with full ATC. So again, this one's going to be offline with no ATC today, but it's on a different aircraft, which is the Airbus A319, and we're going to fly across and then basically just see how we get on. And when we get back to London Heathrow, the next episode after this one will be completely live. We'll have other aircraft flying around. We'll also have ATC. So yeah, let's have a look at this aircraft. I'm going to shoot you off to the intro, and when we come back, we'll be sat inside and we'll get this aircraft started and get this bird in the air. Okay, so we're now in the cockpit. So what I've done is I've got the checklist here as well, so we can kind of do a little bit of we can kind of do a proper startup and do a proper checklist kind of startup. So just to give you a bit of an idea of how to start up the plane as if we were going to be doing it properly. So what we do need to do is go into the Toliss plugin, because this particular model is done via Toliss for the Airbus. So what I'm going to do is also get my, if I can find the blooming thing, get my Avitab Simbrief. I have set it up now, so it should work straight off the bat, unlike last time, which it does. And what we can do is set up our aircraft configuration. So we need to put in the fuel, which today we're at 4,474. Because this only does it in hundreds, I'm going to put it to 4.5, and we're going to do a quick refuel. The passengers today, which is PAX, is 124. So we're going to move this up to 124. Now it does have the payload weight, but what I'm going to do is look more at the ZFW and kind of get that roughly right, because that generally works out better. So we want 55198. For some reason, the weights on here don't equate very well to the weights on there, so I'll just try and get the zero fuel as close as possible. Yep, that'll do. That'll be close enough. So we're going to apply those load settings as well. This bit here we haven't done yet because we haven't set up the FMC or MDCU, I think it's called on this plane. But we'll sort that out later. So we've got external power on as well. Just going to make sure all the rest is sorted, and I am happy with that. So we're going to close that down for the time being, and we're going to say block fuel is sorted. They are open and the cargo doors are open, I know that much. Dome light. I don't think we need the dome light at the moment, and I don't think if I flicked it on it would actually make much of a difference. No, so we'll leave it as dim. And what we're going to do is get the cockpit display up. So we're going to put that bright enough so people can see it. And we're going to have to do that for both the captain and the first officer display. So we're basically just getting the screens up so they're bright enough for people to see. With the external power already being up, it kind of gives it a bit more. There's already power coming to the unit, to the plane even. Okay, and we want both these screens bright enough that we can actually read them as well, because they're no good if you can't see them. There we go, so they are up. Now, okay, So we're just quickly going to check through these and make sure everything's right on here. Okay, I want to say that looks all okay. Go to the engine screen, just quickly check those, unload that, and we're ready to go on to the next one. Some of the stuff is already set up as standard for when you're setting up the aircraft, which is why you suddenly see this checklist shooting through a few. Okay, so the evacuation switch we want there. We're going to put all these to nav because this is the IRS, which is essentially for the GPS, so I want them on. Strobe lighting we want on auto. We want the nav logo to light 1 because it's daytime. Seatbelt signs, where are you? There. Smoking signs there. The emergency lights. Okay, now I'm happy with where they are, so I'm going to keep them there. Can't see that grey bit. Go to check monitoring stage. I'm not too worried about that. I know I should, but I'm not too worried. You got to flick these on just to make sure that they're all okay. Fire tests. Normally you'd get like a ringing sound, but on the beta for some reason it's not working. But the lighting's coming up, so we're happy with that. These two aren't simulated, so I don't need to worry about those. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Let's just check what the Q&H is at the moment. So our Q&H is 1011. So I've got it set up that it sets both sides because it just saves time. Otherwise I've got to manually do every single one. And it should set the one down here as well. So they're now all set. Okay. Gear levers down and we've got 3 lights, so we're good. We want to check the brake pressure. That's the cabin pressures. Hydraulic pressures. Okay. Okay, so we're just making sure all these are as they should be. The fuel is in now. There you go, 4500. We haven't started the APU yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. It's showing. We haven't got it all set up, so it ain't going to be coming up on there yet. All statuses are looking normal. Okay, what I am going to do is just quickly put on the electric pump just to get the pressures correct. There we go, that'll do that. The chronometer, we just want to make sure that's showing correct date and time, which it is. Okay. GPS on the middle switch. But we do have 3 lights and the brake fan is working. Okay, so now what we want to do is just quickly turn on the radios. Although we are not going to be using ATC, it's just good practice just to have all these radio systems up and all the receivers working. Okay. Okay, so there we go. That's on standby there. We've checked those. Get all these up full. Auto scan on the multi-scan. We want it on auto. Okay, we want GCS on auto as well. We want this on system 1, but first we want to tilt this up to 5. Captain to normal. No need to worry about that. We've already done that. Okay, go on the press page and see the landing elevation is on auto. Yep, that's fine. Status page, no issues there. Okay, we want both our thrusts on auto. Whoops, as he drops something on the floor and turns the brake off. Don't know what I've just dropped, but it's out of sight, it's out of mind and all that rubbish. We'll have a look at that. Hopefully we haven't just dropped something off the plane. So yeah, there we go. So all that side's done. First officer, we've got all that turned on now. They've got active sides. Let's turn their floodlights up to full as well. Not that it needs it, just in case. We want the transponder on. And I'm going to need to remember which button takes a look at the bottom. There we go. I've set up some screens to make it a bit easier for us. Okay, so MCDU, there you go, that's what it's called. So what we're going to do is go across to the MCDU. It's going to mess around with my bloody dyslexia, that is, all these letters. Turn the brightness up on these, just make sure all of the information on them is correct. It's just a phone mount that fell over, so that's okay. Okay, so the aircraft model should come up as a Toliss, well, not necessarily a Toliss, an Airbus A319, which it does. There we go. The engine rating is correct. It is an IAE engine, so that's right. Nav data should be 2006, which it is, and the perf date should be less than 6.0, which it is. So there we go. Next, we want to go to the init page. I've got a company route set up, so I'm going to do that. This makes it easy. Now, the difference between this to the Boeing is it works a bit like a screen. Up is down and down is up. The same as when you're sliding on your screen, touchscreen phone, you slide up to go down the list. It's kind of the same on here, but it's done in buttons for some reason. So we want EHAM to EGLL 01. There we go. Put that in. That's going to load that. We also want to align the IRS. Our flight number, as usual, it is going to be Speedbird, or BAW, 1948. Put that in there. Our cost index today is 8, which is a lot lower than it was on the last flight. And our cruise level is 24,000 feet, so 240. And the temperature is 23 degrees, so we're going to put 23. There we go, so flight level 240, which is 24,000. So if the way they do the flight levels is the first one is the, like say, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The second digit is the thousands itself, like 1, 2, 3, 4,000. And then the 0 would be the hundreds. Okay, so that's that. We also want to request the wind information. So we've done that. Okay, so got that. I'm not putting in an alternative because, quite frankly, I'd rather not have to deviate. So we're going to have another quick look just to make sure there's no incontinuities, which there doesn't seem to be. That's showing all okay. So we've got them in. Because I've done the flight route, I don't have to do all these. Okay, now I do have to put in the airports we're going from. So the departure airport today is number 9. So let's put in 9, and we're going via Idri 1N. Okay. And that's that one done. And then we're going to do the arrival as well. We are going to 27 right ILS. And we're going to go via Logo 1H. Okay, there we go. Logo 1H. Put that in. There's no vias, so we insert that as it is. While it does that though, I just want to have a little look and see what our other options would have been. So we don't want RNAV. Yeah, so ILS is what we want. So there we go. So we've got them in. One thing I just want to check. Where's the route page? Okay, so it looks like everything's there. So we've got the runway, the SID and everything set up, runway and the stuff, the arrival. What we're going to quickly do now is put this in plan mode. And if you watch that map, we're going to go into flight plan and move the up arrow. We're basically just making sure that this green line here is all connected and doesn't look like it's doing anything unusual like loop-de-loops or anything like that. Okay, so follow this round. This is our flight plan going across the route. And there's the runway that we're going to. And then this is our holding pattern for if we overshoot for whatever reason. I'm not planning on doing that, so I'd like to think we'll be okay there. So now I've done that, I can pull that back to arc. We want the CSTR on. Okay, gonna change that to 20 as well. There's no continuity, so I don't have to worry about that. Right, the right nav page. Okay, so since we're doing ILS, what I'm going to do is just come over to here. We're going to EHAM. No, we're not. We're going to EGLL, which is the Heathrow RKO code. We're landing on runway 27, so we want 11030 in on the ILS. 110.30. Put that in there. Now you'll see the code there isn't the same as what's coming up over here, which is IRR. And that is because we're currently not over England or near Heathrow. We're actually in Sweden. So, sorry, not Sweden, sorry, Amsterdam. Bloody hell. Apologies to all the people from the Netherlands watching this video. But yep, no, we're in Amsterdam. So, what will happen is that is picking up an ILS frequency which is close by to where we currently are, so that will change as we get closer. But if we put it in, it basically just gets it ready and set. Don't need to worry about the VORs or the cruises for those VORs either. The cruise here will automatically update as we get closer, and we don't need to worry about that. So if we go to the init and go to the B page, what we need to do is get our zero fuel weight and block fuel. So we know we've got 4.5 on the old block fuel, so I'm going to put that in. And if I go to the Toliss screen on the aircraft configuration, it should give us our zero fuel weight CG, which is 28. So 28, and then dash, what's our zero fuel? 55.1. 55.1. Okay, we can put that back. Okay, so that's now filled in the rest of it. That's in there. We've got the block fuel. All the rest of that is in, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, the second flight plan we don't have modelled in this plane, so I'm just going to miss past that. Okay, and we're going to go to the perf page. Right, okay, so the perf page, what we're going to do here, now we've chosen the runway, if we go back onto our Toliss screen, Can I not just make that slightly smaller? Would be a lot easier if I could. But it's not playing ball, so if I just move the view to the side, and then that way I can have both side by side. Okay, so we're going to be using flaps configuration 1, which is standard takeoff flaps for an A319. I'm not sure what the slope is, so I'm going to leave that for the time being. Realistically, I should really check that and then put that in, but I'm not going to. So, there we go. The V1 we have got as 150. And the next one is 150. I know I should be putting the slope stuff in, but to be quite frankly, if the passengers want to be more careful about that kind of stuff, they should have chosen a pilot that's not ginger, basically. So let's have a look. So we've got that now. We're going 73 flex temp. That's what we're going to put in the flex temp. And the flaps, we're putting 1, and the level is up 0.4. Now you have to pull it exactly how it's written there for it to go in properly. Okay. So that, I believe, is now done. I'm just going to move that over here while I check the checklist itself, just to be sure. Yep, that's done. Flex 10, V1, yeah. No, don't need to worry about that. Or that one. Okay, so now we're done with that. We can go. We go to this screen here and then zoom it up so we can have a look overhead. I think we're pretty much done with the Simbrief now, so we're going to move that out of the way. Just for anybody that does fly on Xplane, or to be honest, any flight sim that has actual SIDS and stars and proper flight plan routes, I highly recommend using Simbrief as the tool to help you plan those. Because what you do is you choose the locations you're coming to and from, or from and to, depending on which way you want to go around it, and it will automatically calculate the best route using the latest or whichever AirArc data you've got installed and use, and in that way it will set it up so that the plane in the sim and the actual route itself sync up, and then it just takes out all the putting it, trying to work it all out yourself individually. And I mean, most pilots would have it handed to them anyway, so I just find it as a better and quicker way of doing it. You can also from there import it straight to the game on company routes, which is what I've done on this one. Again, if you want me to do it all properly without any company routes, leave a comment in the description and then I'll do that on a future video. But at least from there, what happens is we can essentially get all the information onto plane, and it saves you just putting it all in manually. Okay, so we want to lock the door. That's done. Close and lock. And now go back overhead, and we want to turn on the APU, Aircraft Power Unit. I don't know if that's what it stands for, but that's what I'm saying it is. We want to also start it. So the unit will start now powering up. When that's done, we can do the... We don't need to worry about that. We can put on the... What is it, one LS with on both sides. That's been set. That's been set to what they need to be. We've set the local QNH, so yeah. The initial climb altitude we're going to is the transition altitude of 5,000. So we're going to go to that. We need to put CRST on this side as well. Okay. That's done. LS is active. Cockpit lighting adjust. I don't actually even know where that switch is on the EFIS, so just leave that as it is. And again, it's not done. So go past to there. Ground power auto, seatbelts on are done. We want the APU bleed on. We want the disconnect the external power. What will happen is all the lights will flicker as it switches across. And that's that done. We don't need to worry about the briefing because there's no first officer, it is just me. Don't need to contact for the initial setup because we're not using a ATC. But I do want to put a transponder code, which I've just flicked across. We're going to do 4700. And we want to set that to standby. That's it, standby. The beacon lights on now. Zoom back out. Okay, so we're ready to essentially start the pushback. So what I'm going to do is request pushback from our flight plan people. I did set this up earlier, so it should be down there. Yes, it is. So okay, so what I'm going to do now is request the pushback. You can see that there, you've got the toe just coming up there. And if we go back to the front part of the aircraft, you'll see it pull up. And essentially, you'll also see all the vehicles now driven away and gone. And all the doors are now, all the hatches and doors are closed. He's going to pull up, put the pin in, and start lifting the aircraft up, ready to do pushback. You can also see the exhaust from the APU now started as well. Once he's in and loaded up, he will lift the plane up. When he's done that, we can start pushback. And once he starts the pushback, we can then start the engines. I've also changed back to the default cloud, so we're not using that cloud set now, which should mean less rotation when you're flying through the clouds and going past them. It's one of the things. They did look nicer at range, but for whatever reason, I just cannot get on with the fact they rotate when you go through them because it just breaks immersion. So I've gone back to the standard default, but just keeping the sky colours, and then at least then it just makes it look a little bit nicer. Back talking to sky colours. Good. Look, putting that one in for a little bit nicer colour. Adds a bit nicer hue to it. Now he's now in. So now he's done that, we can go. Oh, it's the right screen. Go down to the bottom. We can release the parking brake. He's going to tell us we can now start engines. Okay, so ignition start. SD pages are all normal. I know this, but we'll just quickly, just for the sake of going through it. Yeah, all normal. Okay, so we're going to start engine 2. Once it's started and stable, we will then go on to the next one. What we can do, I don't know if I've got a view, which, yeah, there we go. Switch to that view and we can see a nice little view of the engine now starting up. I'll move this out of the way. Once we've pushed back, I'll put the overlay on as well so you guys can see the update of the flight. I do love watching these engines start. I tell you what, I love this game. Okay. Engine 2 is stable. If we did look at the engine page, we would see that as well. It's all sitting there stable and everything's fine. On the right side there, what? Start engine 1. The one thing you'll notice about the Airbus above the Boeing is it's a lot more automated. So although the MCDU is a lot more fiddly to set up, I find personally, the actual startup procedure taking out that equation is a lot quicker. The plane itself is generally a lot more automated, even through flying. And we've now got our music playing in the background. I haven't done the pushback announcement yet. What I am going to do is do the announcement when we start going to the runway. I'll do it as a announcement over the whatchamacallit, the time lapse as we go into the runway. Engine 1 is now stable as well, so we've now got stable engine starts. Okay, we're going to start the chronometer. Okay, we can turn the APU bleed off now the engines are done. And we can also turn the master off. That light will go out shortly after it shuts down. You can hear them doing the procedures now for the passengers, for the emergencies. So here we go. It was up 0.4, so I'm going to move 0.4. Set the parking brake as requested. He's going to disconnect the tow, which means the plane will start lowering down. If you look there, you can see it start moving down now. Engine selector can go back to normal. Speed brakes armed for flight. Rudder trim is reset. There we go. Okay, he'll give us the things. We want to put our flaps to level 1. Flight control pages. We just want to now make sure that everything's turning. Okay, so the whole thing's showing setup. Thank you very much. We look forward to coming back here again. Okay. So we want the weather radar on now to system 1. That can stay there, that's fine. Auto brakes to max, so if we have a failed or aborted takeoff, it will stop us very quickly. That's why you arm them. Okay, and we want to do a takeoff config test. So if we go here, we need to check with the cabin. Just make sure press them, that should go off. And then if down here we got takeoff config button. If we press that just there. Everything's showing normal. So takeoff config is normal. Okay, we want the nose light on to taxi. We want the runway turn off lights. And we can now release the parking brake. Just so you guys know, I will put it up here just so you can see it. I know what route I'm taking already to runway 9, but I'm going to put it on here just so you can see it here. Go to airport. We are situated... Oh, I'm on the wrong airport. That would help if I put the right one in. EHAM. There we go. Okay. Oh, bugger, press the wrong one. Nope, I don't want you. I want you. So we are there. We're going to go across A15 into Bravo and then stop at November 5 and then join on to 09 there. And then that will be where we're taking off from. Okay. That's just for your benefit so you can see. I already knew which way we were going. Okay, so it's now time for us to start heading towards the runway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to time lapse the video to where we hold short and also do the announcement to the passengers. So I'll be back shortly. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We have now finished all pre-flight checks and all the luggage is now
stowed away, so we'll be pushing back and starting to taxi towards the runway, ready for takeoff. So if you'd like to take your seats, unfasten your seatbelts and turn off all electrical devices and then prepare for takeoff. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're now just holding short of the runway itself. We would request contact clearance from them at this point. We would also put the strobe light on. Left and right landing lights would come on. That's it. Yes, please, everybody, please prepare for takeoff. Okay, we would put the TCAS now on to transmit. Packs 1 and 2 off for takeoff. And we would reset and start that. So there we go. That's now all done. So now we're going to get onto the runway and start taking off. Wish us luck. What I'll do is just put on the overlay for you guys as well. Now when I turn it on, it should now show the correct aircraft for you. Yep, A319, there we go. You've now got the little bar at the top to give you an update on progress. We're going to get onto the runway, line ourselves up, and then take off. Here we go. Looking like a lovely day today. I did try to record this yesterday and the thing messed up all the audio. And I tell you what, it was absolutely pissing down. So nice to see that we've got nicer weather today. Okay, so we're now set up level on the runway. We're going to start our takeoff thrust. Toga. Okay, so thrust is now at Toga and we're just waiting for it to let us take off and we'll got a little bit of crosswind coming, so using a bit of rudder to compensate. V1, rotate. There we go. And we are in the air, people. We are in the air. No one's more surprised than the captain. Okay, I'm going to put the autopilot on now, so we can now do the setup. We can put the landing gear up. Okay, we're at climb thrust. We can now retract the flaps. See, they're a little bit more jagged, but I'm not being funny. I just prefer the look of them, so disarm the speed brake. Turn the packs back on. Runway turn off lights off. And the nose light off. We are now reporting position. There we go, done. And once we get to 5,000, I'm going to set the barometer to standard. There we go. We'll just have a little looky outside. There we go. This says the airport we've just taken off from. Lovely bit of scenery from Amsterdam. There we go. Lovely. It's a lovely looking place. Let's get back inside and it's unmanaged. Yep. Let's go to a flight plan. 9.4 goes up to that. So if I pull this out, I'll push that in. We'll put this up to our flight level, which is 24,000. Put it down to managed, and it should manage that now itself. Because it's also telling us that for 9.4, we want to be at 6.3. Telling us primary, it should be set up. Yep, it is. So fine, it's just having a moment. Just getting over the cloud level now. We can close this down as done. I'm going to do a quick climbing announcement while we're getting the rest set up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the flight deck. We are currently climbing up to our cruising altitude and then we'll be turning off the fasten seatbelt sign shortly, so you'll be free to move around the aircraft. Our cabin crew will be happy to come around with drinks, food and anything from the airline shop, so please be patient and they'll be with you shortly, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your flight with us today. Thank you.
Okay, so now we've done that. Once we get up to cruising altitude, I will then do the cruising announcement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now set it up for doing a bit of a time lapse, and I'll see you at the next bit we've got to do. Okay, so we're just coming back just to do a quick setup for destination procedure. Should be in there. We're going to do it again just to be sure. So we said it was ILS right. Logo on H, no vires, set. Yep, okay. So just making sure and making sure it's all in there. So we're going to go to our nav page. That won't show up yet until it's ready. If we do go to EGLL, go back and do approach for 27 right, Cat 3. You see it all in there, so that's fine. Okay, so go to the prog page. And we're going to do EGLL 27 right. EGLL 27 right, there we go. So that's now all in as well. Go to the perf page. Cruising's all managed. That's all managed as well. The Q&H for where we're going today. We're going to be looking at 10-12. 10-12. Put that in the Q&H. The temperature's looking like it is currently 19 degrees in Heathrow, so we'll put 19. And it's 0 at 2-2. Okay, mag wind done, transition altitude. Happy at 5. Okay, so what we're doing now is I'm just going to have a quick look at the DH levels because we're doing a Cat 3 landing, and essentially what we need to do is just let the computer know
Cat 3 here,
so the constraints 50, it needs to fly under. So I'm just going to be putting that in now into the MCDU. There we go. And then we've just got to check the
performance should be
the VAP and make sure that that is all aligned and correct. We're going to be doing a full laps landing as well, so just want to make sure that's sorted. Okay, just doing a quick check around, checking all the systems to make sure everything's okay. And I think we're pretty much there. Okay, so I think we're pretty much okay there. I was just quickly reading through the pages and making sure that we had the correct config all set up. And it looks like it is, to be fair, so can do that. Auto brakes we're going to be putting down as medium, but we don't need to worry about that yet. I suppose we could put it on ready. Okay, and top of the descent is 13 nautical miles. So I'll go back outside now and we'll come back in a bit. Okay, so I don't know if you could just see there's that little arrow there, but it's now telling us we're at our top of descent. And that we now need to start descending. So what I'm going to do is I've been finding the procedure to set that up. So we're now going to start our descent. We should start seeing that dropping now. And we're going to go into the descent mode, which is showing managed. We are now descending down to where we need to be. So here we go. Another relatively short flight. Sometimes you never even get a chance to get to your top of climb before you have to start descending. And thrust idle. There we go. Put a bit speed brake as well, just to get us to start slowing down a little bit. There we go. So we're now starting our descent. I'm going to do a quick announcement to the cabin to let them know we're starting our descent phase now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. We are just about to start a descent, so I'll be turning on the fasten seatbelt sign. So if you can please make your way back to your seats and fasten your seatbelts, and we'll be starting to make our approach for landing. Thank you very much, and I hope you've had a very good flight with us today. Thank you.
There we go. So that's now the cabin being told. It's got our ILS approach showing up there. If I go on to our nav, it's now got IRR 270. So there you go. It's got all that in there. So it's picking that up okay. Right, we're on descent thrust now. Oh, what's it telling us is the issue here? Okay, it's telling us we don't need any more speed brake. So we'll adjust the speed brake, and there we go. Slowly descending into where we want to be. Good looking plane, that. Do like that. We have a quick look down at the system onto the flight plan on the first officers. We've gone past Logan. Coming up to our D cell. Which is that circle there. And we're currently dropping down. We will probably hit Trippo before we actually get to 164, I reckon. It'll be pretty close though, so we're going to get there or thereabouts. And then it's tennis, we want to carry on going down to 16,000 by Sabre shortly afterwards, and then it's tennis to go down to a bit more. So we were only just shy, so we're not doing too badly. There we go, we've hit that one as well. That error message is old because I didn't clear it, only cleared it off this side. We should have maintained height now, yep, and we're now starting to drop again because we need to get it down to 131. So in a second it will start getting us to drop down slightly. And we're also slowing down as well now. We're getting our speeds to where it needs to be. Oh, looks like it's starting to rain slightly as well. Just a slight shower. We have a quick look outside. Here we are flying over England now. Good old English fields. And over in the distance over there will probably be London. London. Some unusual cloud cover around here today. But there we go. So we're now in our descent phase. I'll take that out a little bit further so we can have a look. When we get to Lamb, we're coming up to the final stage of the descent. Have we started this? Yeah, we are going down. We're not going down that fast though, so I don't know if we're going to hit the 115 by the time we get to Brasso. Hopefully by the time we get to Lamb, we should be close to 6,400. Okay, so I'm going to just let it time lapse a bit further along, and then I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now we're here. We're going to set the QNH to the correct level now. Now we've come back. You can see London just in the distance there. There's the Millennium Dome or O2 Arena. We've got all of the buildings just floating around. A couple of football grounds in that as well for those who are football enthusiasts. What I'm going to do is it is changed slightly. It's 10:12. So we're just going to quickly, we're now hitting the approach page. There we go, 10:12. We want clean to be at 200, which I believe is where we're looking at, which is good. We are coming in slightly high, so I'm hoping we descend down quick enough. We are descending below 1,000. Once we get to a certain point, we'll get to the localizer, then approach button. I am going to put the LS on both sides now. And it's telling us we want to get to around 2.5 before we get to F127, which is there. So there we go, there's the Thames going through there. We're just flying over London at the moment. I'll just do a quick outside shot so you can see. Welcome to London, everybody. We are currently just flying over now. Heathrow's over there somewhere, so we'll be making a turn shortly. While we're doing that, I'm going to take the speed out because I want to slow us down to 180. I'm also going to put a level of flaps on. Open the checklist, we've done that now. Turn on the landing lights. Turn on the runway, turn lights up. CST active. Seatbelt signs on. I'm going to do the quick announcement for final approach.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing. Prepare for landing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach to our destination and will be landing shortly. On behalf of the airline, I'd like to thank you for flying with us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Have a lovely day, and thank you for flying with us.
Okay, so now we've done the announcement. We're just going to do a few little checks. Just going to change this range just to get it a bit closer so we can get a bit more of an idea how close we are to the runway. I'm going to start putting the flaps on a bit more. And looks like we're coming in a bit hot, so I'm going to slow the speed down manually. I'm going to put it down to what our landing speed should be, which is 145. That way now the autopilot will manage it, and put a bit of speed brake on as well. That way it will help keep us slowed down and get us down to speed. Put landing gear down, get the approach on, autopilot 2. Right, okay. Yep, get the autopilot 2 on, and then just quickly checking the instruments just to see how we're going. We still need to slow down a little bit. Everything's set up as it should be by the looks of it, so we're getting set up to land. We are a little high though, looking at the glide scope. We are above it, so I might need to adjust that manually. Right, okay. Just working our way through the checklist now. These ones are already done, so I'm happy with all them. What I'm going to do is arm the speed brake, so when we land it opens up the brakes on the wings. Let's put the nose light on for takeoff position, which is also the landing position, but they only name it as takeoff. I'm now going to take control of the aircraft a little bit because we are a little bit high. So I'm pulling the aircraft down just to try and get us a bit more level on the glide scope. Get my words out in a minute. And the speed is picking up a little bit, but I feel I'll be able to manage that a little bit more. Once we get down to level, it will start to pull back a bit. Oh, cloud cover's just moving, which is just what we want. Make it a bit easier for us. Turn that master warning light off. Don't need that. Okay, so we're coming into the final approach. You can see the runway there. We're now starting to get a bit closer to the level we need to be, which is good. Although I feel like we might put the autopilot back on now just to get us back where we need to go. Although it doesn't seem to be pulling us up, so I'm going to manually control it again, so it doesn't seem to be following the glide slope. Don't know what's going on there. So I'll manually fly this in all the way. which is fine. You know, an experienced pilot such as myself, I can easily do it. We're a little bit off centre, so again, I'm going to put the speed brake back to auto because I've been using it to try and slow our speed down after that harsh descent. We're coming in a little bit fast, but I feel we're getting in there just about right. Okay, here we go. We're going to slow it. We're slowing down enough that it was not too much of an issue. A nice gliding down. Just gone past the perfect touchdown point, but we're getting there. And touchdown, and look at that. We buttered it. Basically, a butter is the smoothest landing you possibly want. If you butter, that is a perfect landing in my eyes. 105 on the old rating, so that's really good. Ideally, you want to be less than 150, so there we go. We have now landed, got the reversers on, slowing us down, and there we go. We've come pretty much to a stop. Turn the reversers off, take the brake off, and we'll slowly start coming off on this ramp here. Okay, so that's the checklist done for the landing side of things. The autopilot's disengaged. I'm going to start running through this checklist and making sure everything's done just while we turn off. Going to turn the brake fan on because they're pretty hot. Okay, there we go. Right, we're just working through this. Gonna turn the weather system off because we don't need that on anymore. Now we're on the ground. Right, we're just getting up to the brake line. Okay, so I'm gonna put the parking brake on just so I can sort out a few things. Flaps are off. Turn the TCAS back to standby. Reset the chronometer. There we go, that's done. Set out the lights, so we want to turn the strobe light off. We can turn the landing lights off now as well. Put the nose light to taxi. We're going to turn pack 1 off. And what we're going to do now is start heading to Terminal 5, which is where we're going to be parking at this this plane this evening. So there we go, just checking to see where we are on the maps, on the taxi map. So there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this taxied back to the gate and then put the replay on so you can see the landing and see how smooth it was. And hope you've enjoyed the flight today, and I'd like to see you passengers again on the next one. So I've been Carrot Top Gamer. If you have enjoyed the video today, please hit that likes button. Feel free to subscribe and also get the bell on. That'll let you know of any new notifications and any new videos I have put up. I hope you've enjoyed your flight today, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.